Good afternoon, everyone. Jason here. Today is March 13th, and this is your aftermarket update. So what an awesome day we had here at the Oil Trading Group. This is back-to-back days of 100 ticks per lot on a CL trade. Yesterday, if you watched yesterday's video, you saw that we took a 100 tick per lot times 2 lots trade yesterday on the CL, and we did the very same thing here today. Also, we caught a very handsome 14-point ES move times 2 lots. We'll talk about both of those trades here in a minute, but I do need to let you know that we did not win every trade we took today. In fact, we had a little bit of difficulty getting our bearings and in line with the market direction here early in the session. But again, because of our mantra, cut the losers short, let the winners run, we were able to survive and get into the trade that ultimately paid very handsomely here on the CL, and of course, the one that paid very handsomely on the ES. Let's talk about the CL first here. One of the things that we talk about all the time is our market maker levels. And one of the, if you're a follower of our videos, we talk about kick the signal and pay the target. The daily structure signal down here today was 60.88, and it rallied all the way up to 61.97. Now, it was at this point that I was having a little bit of difficulty here. I was trying to fade a couple of these levels because early, before we even started today, one of the things that we discussed is that the market was going to be in these choppy to sideways type conditions, and we used this chart as the example, this 4-hour chart. In fact, if you squeeze this in here, we talked about the fact that there was the 200-period SMA on this 4-hour chart. Price action was trading below. We'd had a triple top followed by a double bottom, and then, of course, you had this series of lower highs here. And so we talked about the fact that the market was really structurally on this bigger picture time frame was in a kind of choppy to sideways condition. So we were talking about selling tops and buying bottoms. And that's ultimately what happened, although it did take a minute or two for that market to actually do that. So if you look here, we had kicked the signal, pay the target right to our market maker level daily structure target. It's in this area that we ended up getting short. One of the other ideas that we talked about early in the session today was one of my favorite trade setups, and that we hit the sweet spot of that level. So let me bring this out over in front of you here. Let's delete that. We don't need that. And let's right here, 61.84 was a sweet spot retracement. So if you've done the extended trial, the $47 extended trial, this particular setup is actually included in that $47 trial. And if you're watching this video and you receive this link to this video from an email, I have put the link to this $47 setup also in your email as well. But having said that, 61.84 was the area that we were looking to get short here today, and that is one of the sweet spot retracement areas. It did rally just a bit higher up to this 60, that's 61.97, and that is right where your daily structure target is. So once the market came up into this area, we began to rotate around this 84. That's where we were looking to get short, but because we had a couple of losing trades going into this particular trade, I ended up taking only one lot short at 61.84. So my initial entry at 61.84 is only on one lot. And what we talked about and what you'll hear in the video is I talk about adding underneath what we talked about here. We talked about adding underneath this 44 area. It had a spike down here into 44. And we talked about adding on a breakdown through this. And what we ultimately ended up doing is moving that down from 36, which was settlement, down to 34. So what I ended up doing is adding back to this position at 34. When I did add to that position, you'll see this in the video, it brought my average in down to 59, and we were looking to hit this daily structure target all the way down here. We talked about 52 being a potential move down into the structure target, but what we ended up doing is taking an even 100 ticks down to 59. So again, my initial entry today was 61.84, and my final target was 60.59. So 61.84 minus 60.59, that is 125 tick CL trade. Now we did not do that on 2 lots. I ended up averaging in on a breakthrough settlement at 36, and my average in was actually 34. That brought my total price down to 59, and that's where we carried those 2 lots down for 100 ticks. Now on the CES today, we had a couple of nice opportunities. We got had a little bit of a challenge initially this morning. We had one trade that went pretty good distance in our favor, then came back and took me out at break even. I get in for a small 4-tick loss, and you'll see that in the video. And then I re-enter right back up here at this 28.03, and we were looking to carry it down to settlement and maybe even as deep as the daily structure signal. And 27.89 ended up being our target. So 28.03 is where we get into this trade, and we took it down to 27.89. So 28.03 minus 27.89 ends up being a 14-point ES move. Now, you're not going to see that entire trade. I recorded most of that trade, but I did have a technical issue right at the end of the session today that kind of messed up the recording there at the very end, and that's okay. For those of you that were in the trade room today, you saw that. So you saw a 100-tick trade times 2 lots on the CL, and you saw a 14-point ES trade times 2 lots. So again, very, very handsome trading day here at the Oil Trading Group. And again, this is back-to-back days of really nice CL trades. So what I'm going to do now, this trade actually, the CL trade lasted about 45 minutes. I'm going to cut it down, let you hear the entry, let you see where we got in and how we got in as called in front of a live audience here today. Then I'm going to let you watch as I cut this down, speed up the tape, put a little music behind it, and put some text around it so you get some context. You can at least see really the kind of the first part of the trade, the middle, and then the end. So if you've been watching the videos for any length of time, you know how it goes, and you know the drill as we get into it. So I'm going to let you watch this OTG CL trade of the day along with that ES trade. So without further ado, here are the OTG trades of the day. 84 on the CL, 1 lot short at 84. Stop here is 98. Stop is 98. I'm going to add 1 to this CL position at 44. I'll add 1 at 44. 44 on the add spot. Okay, you are almost 4 points now. There's 99. There's 98.75. That's that bottoming area on the ES we got to get through. 98.75. So I'm going to add 1 to this at 44, looking to carry this down maybe into the 60s here on the CL.